Hey y'all, it's March the 21st, 2016, and I feel like I've made 5 or 6 different videos today. I was in a video making mood today. Alright, not only that, I'm in kind of a personal video making mood today. There's certain things that I want to touch upon, not necessarily current events or anything like that, which is what I like to do a lot, but more so on a personal note. Things that I want to get out and that I want to express to all y'all out there who might be concerned. Not only do I want to express, for my benefit, what's going on in my head, what's going on in my life, but there's a lot of fellas out there who either can relate to my situation, A, or B, are going to relate to my situation in the coming future. Alright, so with that being all said, I want to establish myself. I'm a 30 years old man out here. Alright. I've been married before, had a kid before, done all that stuff. Growing into what I like to call a grown ass man at this point. Situation is that I live by myself. Alright, in lots of ways I stay to myself. Alright. I know a lot of people might find that concerning in a way, like I've been told before by people who genuinely care about me, saying that it ain't always gonna be like this, Y'all might have heard things like that yourselves, like it's not always going to be like this. You're still young yet. I know that you lost your family and stuff, but you could probably start again. You got a whole bunch of time and stuff. I appreciate when people share that sentiment with me, but at the same time, it really doesn't apply to me at all. Alright? Not in the least. My age really has nothing to do with anything necessarily. I mean, if at all it is significant, it is minimally significant. Alright, what I want to bring up is this. At my particular age, what I'm seeing out there, prospects are very similar to what MGTOW fellas think about and talk about all the time in their particular videos. Alright, if you don't know what that is, it's men going their own way. I used to watch a lot of MGTOW videos and stuff, a couple years ago and stuff, and they're all quite interesting. They're all men who are they're tired of ladies. Me personally, I'm a little bit left on that spectrum in the way that I'm not so much tired of ladies, and I'll explain that in further detail later, but that's not necessarily the case. The thing is, as far as prospects of having another romance in my life, slim to none. I have to tell y'all, it's not gonna happen. Right? I know a lot of people might be concerned by that and think, oh man, you don't have any faith and stuff, and you just gotta hang in there and hang tight, and you're gonna find that special lady. But what I gotta explain for you is that special lady ain't out there. Alright, just real briefly, me personally, I've only really had 2 choices. Alright, first of all, I would have to outwardly go and seek out a woman, which is something that first of all, I've never done. Secondly, I don't plan to do it to begin with. But if I were to go out and do that, my prospects would either be a woman of my general age range who has never had a baby, who's never been married. Alright, and that's dang near impossible. Or number 2, someone who has been married and they do have children, a single mother. Alright, which is also equally as, dare I say, dangerous and treacherous. You wouldn't want to do that. You wouldn't really want to go that way. And I know a lot of dudes are going that way. Why? Because there ain't no other prospects. They're going after these single mothers because all these mothers be having children and stuff, and for whatever reason their relationships fall apart at an early age and stuff. and they be going out there and they're trying to get those ladies. I'm not trying to get those ladies. Like I said, it is too treacherous. All right, there is too many minefields in that particular area. I'm not trying to do that. That being said, you know, there's many a single mother out there who are good people, real good people, and deserve you know, romance in their life and all that. I'm sure that there is. I'm positive that there is, and you know, there's a lot of single mothers out there, you know, I can relate to and I can talk to, and you know, we can have a good old time just talking and everything. But at the same time, I don't have what it takes to look at you in that sort of way. Like, I don't want to be getting in your business necessarily. I don't want to be dating you, you know, I don't want anything like that. And I gotta explain to you, it's a very weird lifestyle that I'm living. It's a very lonely lifestyle, and at the same time, it's quite interesting because here's the thing. I have always personally, I don't even say utilized women, something as a drug. Me personally, women work as like a drug to me. Like, as far as I've ever known, I've always in my brain and in my heart felt a deep loneliness. Not only that, but anguish and stuff. You know, I have a certain empathy for other folks that are, you know, having tough times in their life and stuff. And, you know, I have the tendency to get depressed and stuff like that. Alright, and you know, among other drugs, I would use women as a drug, dude, because honestly, I just can't. I like it, alright? They look good, they smell good, you know, all that sort of stuff. You know, they feel good and all that. You know, it's very much a drug to me, and I like the drug. I sincerely do. But however, the withdrawals, the inevitable withdrawals, which are going to come, because the thing is, I'm way too sincere for any girl to really tolerate it. The inevitable withdrawals, you know, it's not even worth it. It's not even worth getting hooked back up onto the crack cocaine pipe. Like, it really isn't. Alright, so therefore I kind of stay away. You know, in a fantasy life in my head, I gotta admit to you, I know women out there who obviously aren't in relationships or in terrible relationships. You know, it is the tribulation, and I would like to take them out for ice cream and stuff and talk to them about, you know, their life a little bit. You know, I would love to do that. Can't do that because that's not how men and women work necessarily. All right, you know what most people would call that is a date. Like, oh, you asked me out on a date. No, I'm not. I have no romantic designs on you at all. But you know, however, I just like to get a little taste. I like to be around femininity. You know, I feel very at home with it. I like to get a little taste, but I also know that, dude, shoot, man, you know, it is a drug to me. I do have to practice moderation, and I can't really get involved with none of these ladies out here, man, unfortunately. And I don't know, a lot of people might have been wondering about that because it has been years since I've been married and stuff. Don't necessarily hear me talking about that many girls and things. No homo, by the way. I have no interest in that. But at the same time, you know, it's just, I really don't have interest in developing what would be like a mutually exclusive relationship with a girl. In fact, not only that, dude, I don't even have interest in such things as premarital sex. And here's the thing about it. As controversial as that might be and stuff, I got that idea from out of the Bible and stuff. You know, I've had bunches of premarital sex in my life and stuff, and long story short, it never benefited me at all. Alright, felt real good. I would imagine lots of times a girl felt real good. Didn't benefit us at all. The only time it ever benefited me was when I had a daughter. Alright, that's the only time, period, point blank. Alright, so I don't believe in premarital sex. You'd be hard pressed to find a girl anywhere who believes the same way. They all, no matter how they want to put it out, they all believe in premarital sex, or the good majority does. I know there's going to be exceptions to that rule. There's definitely exceptions to that rule, but I have a hard time finding them. All right, especially in the way that I'm not looking for them. I'm not out looking. Right, but I have made note that I don't know if you'd say 97, 98% of women out there of my age or around that absolutely believe in premarital sex. Whether they know why or not, it's because that's how they get kind of power over a man, right? I'm not hating on you because that is why y'all do what you do and everything like that. It does work. You do get power over a man through these premarital relations and stuff. I'm not interested in it at all. Alright, the reason is because I know that number one, it doesn't really benefit me. Number two, it is a sin, according to a book that most of y'all really don't care for or want to know anything about. And that sin is going to lead to pain and strife later on in my own life. It's like I'm setting myself up. If I were to go and, if I were to go and keep on with this premarital sex game, you gotta understand, I would have all sort of downfalls in my life later on in my life that I'm not really trying to set up necessarily, man. Inevitably, what I'm trying to explain to you in this video is that there's a character, and it's not only one, but for example, there's a character in the Bible that you might wonder about. It talks a bit about his lifestyle. All right, and that's John the Baptist. All right, just real briefly. There's things that you should know about John the Baptist, but here's the thing: he lived a very, very lonely lifestyle. All right, and a very rigid lifestyle. One would have the idea as to maybe imply that he might have been autistic. That was probably the case. This John the Baptist, he lived his way, and it was in seclusion, and you didn't know too much beyond that. Not only that, there's verses, I forget if it's Peter or Paul, who mentions the idea of there's some people who they live life alone, right? Regardless of whether or not they wanted a partner to share stuff with. It ain't happening. It's not in the cards for them. In fact, I think Jesus also brought that up. How there's some people that it's just simply not in the cards for them, whether or not they wanted it to be. And I can't help but relate, in that sense to John the Baptist. It's like, I have to admit to you, in full disclosure, there's times when I feel it's just very lonely. Absolutely just down in the pit of despair. Like, dude, I wish there was a girl that I could hug and hold on to, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you, but at the same time, it isn't in the cards for me. Alright, and it's not some situation of woe is me, I'm sort of a victim because I can't get what it is that I want. I just gotta realize, and I gotta admit to myself, and I gotta subsequently remind myself from time to time that yeah, that is what I want. Yeah, I yearn for that sort of thing from time to time. Hell yeah, there's some tears that come out of these eyeballs, dude, when y'all aren't looking. But at the same time, as much as I might want that, it's not what I need. It's not what y'all need out there, because here's the thing, I care about all sort of people in different variations, to different degrees. I care about all sort of people out there, to include young girls out there in my family and not in my family. I have a lot of care for y'all, I have a lot of concern for y'all, and I want to express as much as I can, as much as I possibly can, how much it is that I care about y'all, how much that I want to do for y'all, how much that I want to be there for y'all. But if I'm out, for example, chasing ladies because it's a drug to me, alright, and I have some sort of overwhelming desire to get another wife and children, like people desire to do, I wouldn't be able to show all the people who I care about just how much I care about them. I wouldn't have time. In fact, I would go through my drug of choice, a lady, and eventually I would scare her off, and then guess what? I'll have withdrawals, just like any other drug. And while I'm going through withdrawals, I'll be in a sort of a fit of depression, right? And I'll be no good to all these people who I care about while I'm deep in a pit of depression, dude, trying to get over the fact that, I thought maybe I could start something with this lady. No, it didn't happen. Of course I scared her off. I'm gonna scare her off every single time. Alright, I'm way too sincere. I'm a little bit too autistic, dude. People can't really deal with my lifestyle. Something like a John the Baptist. Alright, and I can't afford to be in this depression mode and stuff and still help the little children who I know, still show everybody else who's around me that I care about them. I can't do both at the same time, and I don't plan to. I know a lot of people might they might wonder about me in the future if I do happen to live on for any long period of time after this. People are gonna wonder, it's like, it's just he can't get into a relationship, or maybe does he not want to, or like what's going on? Is he ever going to start again? No, I'm not gonna start again. I have to let you know that this road that I'm on continues down the same road. It continues the same direction. It's a very lonely direction. Sometimes it could be a very depressing direction. Thing is, there's millions of people, at the very least, who are going to go down the same road, whether or not they want to, that I'm going down. It's actually very necessary. It'll be very necessary. It's going to prove to be paramount in the tribulation that there are these people who will choose against their own pleasure, will choose against their own benefits in order to save themselves and be available for others who might very well need them in their time of need. There's going to be a lot of folks out there just like this, just in the same situation. They might be hopeless romantics out there. They might be addicted to the opposite sex, and they might want something. They might want to build something. But the thing is, they might already understand it, but they might not yet know that you could build a house on sand, and it could be all in vain. Or you could sit off by yourself, to yourself, and slowly build a house, a small house, perhaps just for yourself, and build that house on a foundation of rock by yourself. Alright, that might be the case for you. Certainly is the case for me. Alright, and anyways, I'll holler at y'all later. You holler back at me if you can at all relate, to my particular situation, or whatever it is that I talk about, the tribulation and all that and stuff. Holler at me, alright? Because I like to hear that sort of thing. I like to hear from y'all. It's March the 22nd, 2017.